PEP Radio is a part of the Pennsylvania Equality Project that plays music, news, and weather, actively advocating for the LGBTQ+ and disabled since 2024.
PEP Radio, available on Live 365, Roku, Alexa, and at paquality.com.
Here at Gay SA Radio, we're very happy to welcome the Othering podcast to our airwaves. Catch the show every Thursday at noon CAT, bringing fresh voices and compelling conversations straight to you.
Head over to gsaradio.stream to find out how you can tune in and become part of our family. Don't miss it, only on Gay SA Radio, where you are family.
One man and one woman join forces to rid the world
What are you doing?
of inequality and fascism.
Seriously?
I'm trying I'm trying to do a promo here.
For whom? What are you doing?
Welcome to the Othering Podcast with Mike and Dory. Okay, today we are talking to Amy. Amy is a demisexual and works as a paramedic with progressive ataxia. Her ataxia affects her nerves, causing problems with balance, speech, and nerve pain. She also suffers with severe anxiety and depression. Her ataxia has been so severe that she couldn't get in and out of the ambulance. She is looking to help people when they become disabled or have a progressive disease, because not knowing anything about your own disability is really hard. And we completely understand that. Welcome, Amy. It's an honor to have you.
Yeah, we're so thrilled to have
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
We're thrilled to have you. So how did you end up becoming, like, the EMS ambulance? How did you get into that work?
So, maybe when I was like 11 or 12, my mom and I started watching Grey's Anatomy, and after I learned like more, I then started hate watching it a little. But that's what got me into it at first.
I do have to agree that at the beginning, I liked Grey's Anatomy. Not so much once they started killing everybody off. And I understand that that's kind of the way with, soap operas of any sort. But I didn't like it as much after that.
Yeah, and especially like having the medical knowledge. Like there's a part like where the patient like flatlines. And that's not what is happening.
Yeah, not the most realistic.
No. Have you ever watched The Pit?
Yeah, I have. Like, I like it so far. I've watched like 4 episodes of it, I think.
I've only gotten to watch a couple here and there episodes, but I've always heard that it's much more accurate than any other show has been thus far.
It is more accurate, in my opinion.
I can't imagine that you would even have time to have sex in a room. I mean, like...
Yeah, seriously.
Where do you get that time? Because if people are dying, you're working in ER. There's no time.
Really. I think it's like... In my opinion, it speaks to like the doctors having more time.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I wouldn't think they'd have that much time. I mean...
Yeah, seriously.
That's kind of a lot of stress. And I understand that, you need stress relievers. But you can't tell me that you're able to finish all the time within like 2 minutes.
Seriously. And do you really need that much of a distraction?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, how can you switch gears like that fast? Very unrealistic.
And they never sleep. You're telling me that don't get me wrong. Sex is good, but not to the point of where I'm going to lose my sleep. If that's the only time I'm sleeping, you better believe I'm going to be sleeping.
Do ER doctors ever sleep to begin with?
Yeah, they get time.
Okay. Just checking.
The most unrealistic part for me, I think, is like that they don't fall asleep like after sex at all, like ever.
Yeah, they're always staring at a ceiling. And I understand it's for dramatic stuff, but come on. Most people are out cold.
Seriously. Like, don't they have like consultants?
You would think. And the nice thing about the pit, though, is that I did hear that they do have actual consultants for the different, maybe not all of them, but at least pretty close to all of the different diseases that they touch on. There was an episode that talked about sickle cell, which I thought was really great because it highlighted the fact that all of us with any type of pain issues kind of get ignored when we go to the ER.
Yeah, very true.
And it's frustrating, it's annoying, and they would be the first ones to be upset with you for not saying anything if you need help, or they would be the first ones to be upset if they didn't get any help with their pain. And the way that they tend to treat those of us with pain is unfair. They assume that we just are there for drugs, and come on, there's much easier ways to get what we need than going to an ER and spending a lot of money.
Yeah, seriously. I know you guys have talked to like healthcare workers before, but seeing the both sides of healthcare is very illuminating.
Yeah,
sure. I mean, you
hear them talk shit about like the pain patients.
Yes, I have heard a lot about that.
Especially when my disability was new and undetectable, I definitely heard a lot of that.
And I get being frustrated with people. I mean, people are frustrated. They can be annoying as hell. I get that. But to be gleeful when they have to say, oh, you're not getting your pain medicines, or we have to gleeful about cutting you off, just seems like extra cruel.
Yeah, to me, like, I don't know if it's like accurate, but it makes me think about like the person who's gossiping about them, because that means like that they might do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like they're projecting.
They probably are. And it just doesn't make sense to do that.
So
No, it doesn't.
I have a couple of questions with all that being said. I guess the first one is, when did you get the diagnosis of ataxia? And did that really mess up your working as a paramedic? Did that affect it?
So I first started experiencing symptoms when I was 26 and in the middle of paramedic school.
Okay.
Since it's like a progressive disease, like for the first like year or so, like you couldn't see it, but I could tell. So when I first noticed it was like affecting my job was when I couldn't like lift the weight.
Right.
That I felt like unsteady doing it.
Yeah. And you need to be safe and, not get hurt as well.
Yeah. I can't become the patient too.
No.
Right. So are you still doing the work today, or did you have to stop?
I had to stop.
Okay.
But when it got super bad, when I couldn't get in and out of an ambulance or like lift people anymore, like I began teaching.
Okay.
Which is good.
Yeah. Very good.
We need
it.
We need teachers.
Yeah, I made more of an impact teaching than I did on the ambulance, but I definitely wasn't expecting that.
That actually kind of shocks me because as having been a teacher before, it always seems like you're never reaching people, and that I always thought and felt that anybody in the medical profession, especially EMTs and ambulance drivers and all of those first responder people, were doing way more than I was. And hearing you say that actually kind of puts it into perspective for me that they're both equally important and they're both equally hard jobs to do.
Yeah, I had like a student that I taught, like who was pregnant, like during the class, come up to me at the end of the year and say that I made a really big difference in her life.
That's what you do it for. Those are the moments that matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. What was your first symptom that made you kind of think something's up?
So I went to paramedic school, like we're in the middle of Washington where it snowed. And so I walked to and from class. So I noticed it when I was walking to and from class the most.
Was it just an unsteadiness or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like feeling of like when you're going up or downstairs, like in the dark, and you think there's an extra stair. So basically just stepping weird.
That sounds awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Missing a stair is a horrible feeling.
It's not fun.
No. And that's sometimes how I feel with my CRPS. There are moments where I can walk just fine. And then there are other moments where, because my feet go numb, and all of these weird things happen to me, that it doesn't even feel like I'm stepping. So like I will skip certain areas and end up tripping because I either think my foot's already down or I feel like I've still got it up in the air and it actually isn't, type of thing. And that for me is scary. So I can imagine that it would be scary as well for you. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm just curious, like, how are you coping with having your ataxia? Because, I mean, you look great. Not that that's a criteria, because it shouldn't be.
So the way I cope with it is like, it's kind of broad. It's like about like everyone, but including me, where we all are just doing our best.
Yep. That's all you can do nowadays. It's a hard world out there.
And
it's basically just trusting that people are doing their best at all times.
And trusting that you know your body better than anybody. So that if you need to go do something and you can go do it. But if you can't do it, you can't do it. You know, don't do it. Is it easier to kind of, I guess, like, let me start with the fact that with my CRPS, because it's so unpredictable, some days I have really great days and I feel like I could go and paint a whole house because I've got plenty of energy and I feel great. And then there are other days where if I open my eyes, it's like pain throughout my body. Is ataxia kind of like a roller coaster like that, or is it more straightforward?
So I have like good days and bad days like that, but I'm primarily in a wheelchair. So it definitely fluctuates less, but I definitely have days where I feel like better and have more energy. I also heard like, so I'm in lots of ataxia groups, and like someone said like that they use a wheelchair, but they thought they were having a good day and totally forgot about it and tried to stand up and fell on their face.
That's not good.
So that happens too.
Yeah, I can see that. There.
It's,
Do you not?
sorry.
Do you have you had those moments? I've had those moments where I think I'm fine and I have fallen on my face.
I definitely have times that I forget, but my body has a way of reminding me, like when I'll accidentally like hit or kick something.
That's actually the bane of my existence. When something like a wall has been there for longer than I have been alive, and I will walk into it. I have rolled into it. I have smashed my foot between my wheelchair foot part because my feet kind of hang over. So I've smashed my toes between the foot part and the wall. And it just, which is kind of funny, but at the same time not, because it's like it's disabling me even more. But it's because of the fact that I'm disabled makes me more disabled sometimes. And it's frustrating to me because I hate smashing my body parts, but I can't help it.
Yeah. Like, the biggest indicator for me is like, so I have a cat and he's used to me like hitting and kicking him now. So like, he doesn't react at all. And that's very eye-opening to me.
What's your cat's name?
Bubs.
I like that.
Uh-huh.
We've got two cats, Ash.
I like that it's easy for me to say.
It's a cute name.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got Ash and we've got Cinnamon. And
oh, nice.
Cinnamon
Does
is...
they get along?
Yeah.
Sometimes. Sometimes not so much. Usually, like, once in the morning and once at night, you hear them wrestling and, fighting. And at first, I have to admit that it scared the shit out of me because I heard the noises and I thought it was the kids falling down the stairs, and it was just the cats. So I was mad. I was very angry with them. Have you had your cat like meow yet and sound like they're actually talking?
Not really, but with the ataxia, like my startle reflex is really high. So, and like having a cat has sort of like turned the volume down on that a little.
That's good.
I like that. Yeah.
So what was it like in the beginning, getting used to how your body was not cooperating with you and like just kind of adjusting to that? Because I mean, I would imagine before that you were okay for 20 some years, right? That's a big change.
Yeah, I was like completely able-bodied for like 26 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it definitely hit like a train. It's still something I adjust to, but I'm better at it now for sure. But yeah, it was really rough for like the first like 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, I would imagine. In the beginning, did you have issues getting the diagnosis? Did the doctors, because you said it wasn't real obvious or visible.
So I'm actually still undiagnosed. Like they know I have like a type of ataxia, but there's like hundreds of different types.
Oh.
And I've had like, I think like, I want to say like 5,000 genetic tests.
Wow.
they've run so many tests on me and they can't figure out. So I basically just deal with the symptoms as they are.
And there's no sort of treatment, even if they figure it out. Is there any treatment?
No.
No.
There's one treatment for, I think, like, I know cerebellar ataxia type 3,
Mhm.
Okay.
but that's it.
Wow.
I'm sorry that they need to study this more, because
Yeah, I think so too.
our son
Like,
has, I have to double check, but I'm pretty sure that they told us that our youngest has speech ataxia, that type of thing. And they just kind of threw it at us, didn't say anything about it, didn't explain what it meant, what it was. And then they're just like, well, here's the diagnosis, happy days. And it's kind of frightening when they don't tell you anything about it. Were they at least nice enough to give you some information about your ataxia at all?
unfortunately not.
And in the intro, that's one of the things you're looking to really help people with, which is very important. Like she said, it's terrifying when your body's falling apart and no one can help you because no one understands it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I at least want to, like, help with, like, the understanding part of it. Like, not, like, the diagnosis part, but more of, like, the mental transition.
yeah,
And I feel like that's almost more important than the medical diagnosis because that's more your well-being and how you handle it, which is
Yeah.
far greater than a piece of paper that says what you have.
yeah. I
Very true.
honestly, mine is totally different, but I can honestly say that knowing what I have helps, but having the peace of mind, understanding at least somewhat of what I have, makes it easier to kind of swallow that sometimes bitter pill for me of not having my body do what I want it to do all the times. And I don't understand why we're not, especially with hundreds of different types of ataxias that happen, we should be studying this even more, especially as it, affects motor neurons. And I'm assuming, if I remember correctly, I've read so many different things lately, that it can affect hearing and sight and, speech, of course, and movement. If it affects all of that, we should be looking into it more. We should be studying it more.
Yeah, I think it affects, like, all our nerves. Like, I'm still in the beginning of it, but, like, that I'm noticing that the nerves in my bladder don't really work properly.
So does that indicate a neurogenic bladder or just...
I'm not sure exactly.
Okay.
But I did find some period underwear that is good for it.
Good.
Yeah.
Sorry. But what kind do you use? Because there's so many brands out there, and I don't even know, like, where to look.
So the brand I use is Revel Cares,
Okay.
I think, because they have, like, shorts that have, like, protection on the inside of the legs, which helps me a lot.
Okay.
That makes sense.
That does actually sound awesome, too, because I don't have problems with my bladder at this moment. I don't want to say I'll never have problems because God only knows.
When you get old, we all do.
Well, yeah, that too. But there are people with CRPS that ends up having it in their bladder and it just goes to hell. So there's that. But when I'm on my period, I bleed. Like, my pads don't hold anything. And I'm curious because I want to know kind of like, what people would recommend, because it's no fun bleeding all over yourself. And
So something about the Rebel Cares underwear is that it holds, like, only 70 milliliters of liquid at a time. So if 70 milliliters like comes out like at the same time, like it doesn't hold.
Okay.
That's good to know.
But that is good to know.
Yeah.
Because as an AFAB or as a person who identifies as a female, when you're on your period or you have problems with your bladder, because there are times, this is common to CRPS, there are times where all of a sudden you just have to go to the bathroom. There's no warning. You didn't see it coming.
Yeah, that's how it works for me too.
And it would be nice to have underwear or, pads or whatever that could absorb that. Because the first time it happened to me, I was kind of thinking like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? And I kind of broke down a bit because I was thinking in so many different levels of panic, like, oh my God, my bladder's going, or oh my God, I'm old.
And it's embarrassing because of the way society has talked about it.
Yeah.
Even though it shouldn't be, because it's a human thing to do. Everybody does it.
Right. But yeah, like you said, society tells you, oh, that's not a problem you should ever have until you're in your 80s type of thing. And there's so many of us that are not in our 80s that have issues with our bladders just suddenly saying, oh, by the way, I've got to go to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, I think it was like a year ago, like my anxiety was so bad. I had to wear diapers and I felt like really ashamed of that at first for like 6 months probably.
And we shouldn't.
But I'm less ashamed now.
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
Because you shouldn't be ashamed.
No.
Our bodies, sometimes as much as they can suck, do amazing things at the same time.
Yeah, that's true. That's where my paramedic knowledge, helps me a little.
Mm-hmm. So is the anxiety a symptom of the ataxia, or is that something you had before and just other mental health problems?
Yeah, it's very interesting. Like, I didn't really have it before that I knew of, but definitely, my ataxia, ramped it up to, 100.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can understand that. I didn't realize I had anxiety. Thinking back, I did. But mine...
I knew it.
Shut up.
I don't know how you missed it.
Because I just wasn't paying attention to that. But anyway, I didn't realize that I had it at first. But when my diagnosis was happening, when I kept having the pain before I finally got the actual diagnosis of CRPS, my anxiety was always all over the place. And I was always worried about it because I wasn't sure if it was happening because of my CRPS or if it was one of those things where it came before it just got exacerbated by my CRPS.
Yeah.
And I feel like mental health is so unsure, and I mean, it's studied, but no one really knows all the answers. So I'm not sure anyone could ever really answer that, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel like chronic illness and disability and mental illness are so tied together.
Yep.
It's hard to differentiate all of them.
Yeah.
It is difficult because you got to, based on, statistics and looking at those different articles about the different diseases and syndromes, you're going to get anxiety because you don't know exactly how your body is going to react to having that illness, that chronic illness. And then at the same time, you get anxiety because the doctors, are they going to believe you? Or are they going to assume that, oh, you're too pretty, or you're too smart, you're too short, whatever, to something that they're going to put in there. So you can't have it. So there's that anxiety. And then if you have an acute episode where you have to go, say, to the ER, are you going to be believed there? And so there's so many instances throughout the journey that you're going to have anxious moments from that. And I would imagine that that kind of also pushes you into depression because of those terrifying moments.
And to add to the anxiety is like what you talked about before, where like doctors don't really tell you what to do about it. So that's another layer.
Yeah, because if you look up things on Google, usually it's, well, you're dying of a paperclip. I mean, it touched you. Go start planning your funeral now because you've got a paperclip on your hand.
And any symptom you have is anxiety. Can't be anything else.
Right.
Yeah. Especially in the beginning of my journey, I heard like, you're not actually sick. You're too young to be sick.
Yeah.
Since when does age have anything to do with that?
That's said way too often.
Yes.
It shouldn't be said.
Yeah, like the lack of like understanding that just people are people, like it's astounding to me.
Yeah.
And you were 26. I mean, it's not like you were 5, you were 26. You were a grown adult. I mean, that's old enough to have a sickness.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, 5 is old enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like if someone thinks or knows something is off, then you just have to believe them.
Exactly.
That's what I was taught as an EMT. It's like the person actually knows what's like not right.
Yeah.
You know your own body better than anyone else.
Exactly.
You kind of live with it.
Exactly.
And, it doesn't matter how old or how young you are. Shit happens to all of us. And yeah, it sucks when you're young and you end up with a chronic or a debilitating or terminal illnesses. But say that instead of, oh, you're just too young. Because it makes me feel like when you hear that, it's kind of a dismissal, an automatic dismissal.
Yeah, me too. Like, it feels like weird to me for that reason.
Yeah.
It does.
It's a very dismissive comment that they don't care to help you.
Right. And it's like, but something's wrong. Just because I'm 12 versus 25 or 45, I know my body. I do understand what's going on. And like you said, we should listen to people when they tell us they know something's off. They may not be able to say definitively, this is what it is, but when something's wrong.
Yeah, it's astounding to me that like EMTs or like doctors like think we'll come into that environment for fun or something.
Yeah.
For the money, yeah. That's not right.
No.
So when you were an EMT, did you find that your coworkers were as caring and listened as well as you did, or did they tend to be more dismissive like we're talking about?
So it's interesting. Like, I think, in the beginning, I was full-time, so I had like the same partner like every night.
Okay.
And he was very understanding, like me. And when I was like part-time, I had like all different partners, and like my partners, I think, like fed off of my energy a little of like, so yeah, I would usually like take the lead like immediately and say like something, and they would then go off of that.
Okay, that's good.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
You should go after the leader. And
it's interesting. Like my the regular partner I had was 6'5", and I'm 5'4".
Yep.
But he would always say, like, "Oh, Amy's in charge."
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if only I could get him to say that, we'd be good.
Nah.
You can say it.
Nope. Not happening.
Try it. Say Dory's in charge. But yeah, I understand that height difference. I mean, Mike being 6'5" himself, and I'm like 5'4"-ish, depending. Honestly, I don't know for sure. I'm between 5'2" and 5'4", because it depends on the day. One day I'm 5'4", and another day I could be 5'2". So either I'm growing and shrinking back and forth, or like, I don't know, gravity's just deciding to mess with me. But and the height difference between us is huge sometimes. I feel like I'm a little kid standing next to him, and when he and I hold hands, I feel like I'm like a little 5-year-old holding my parents' hand type of thing, because his hand dwarfs mine so much.
Right. Yeah. When I for lifting the gurney, like one person has to be on either side. And since my partner was tall and I was short, like I got used to like bending my elbows like a little.
Right.
So the gurney would be like above my belt height.
Mm-hmm. Did you find the dynamic with you being female and him being male, as far as patients was concerned? Did they treat you differently for that, or did you not really notice a difference?
No,
Okay,
I
good.
didn't really notice a difference. There was one time that so we would switch off driving and checking
Mm-hmm.
every call, and there was one time that the patient I had was being combative in the back of the ambulance. So I asked my partner if we could switch because he was driving that time, and we did switch.
Yeah.
But that was the only time I think that happened.
That's good.
What was your favorite, if you remember, what was your favorite type of emergency to go out on? I hate to put it that way, because it's like, yay for emergencies. I love it, but no. I don't wish people having an emergency, but out of curiosity.
I want to say, like, my favorite type of call was like we wouldn't ever know until we got there for sure. But my favorite type of call was like the mental health calls, when it was more about like talking than taking care of them, really.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
those would be not only kind of interesting in the aspect of science and learning about the science and brain and all that stuff, but at the same time just getting a chance to hear somebody else's story like that, and get to kind of understand their journey, and it makes you a better person every story you get to hear.
Yeah, and I feel like it also helps because, like, in those instances, like, it wasn't like an emergency. Like, we didn't have to move super fast.
Mm-hmm.
So it was more like a chance to, like, slow down a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I would imagine it felt very gratifying to be able to sit with someone and help them, and maybe even make them laugh, even if it was a 5-minute car ride. I would imagine that feels much better than pumping their chest to make them stay alive.
Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of change gears real quick.
Sorry, you
But
brought up
first,
something real quick. When you said pumping chest, it made me think of the CPR. So, what song do you like to do CPR to?
So I actually don't really think of a song. Like I do like more like 1-2 pump.
Yeah,
more of
that
a
makes
count
sense.
than a song. Yeah.
Yeah, I asked
Yeah,
because there's
for me it's more like focusing on the recoil
Mhm.
because
Okay.
you want it to fully recoil.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Because they always say, like, they have these memes going around where they talk about different songs give you a different beat, and one of the bigger ones being "Staying Alive," and how to.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I was taught like staying alive is the right beat, but like I feel like we were talking about it before, where it's just like every single body is very different.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean,
So staying alive isn't a one size fits all.
That's good to know. I've luckily never had to do CPR on anyone. So it's good to know that going into it.
it is because, and the fact that you said that it's not one size fits all. Whereas the one CPR class I took a long time ago, they made it kind of sound like it was one size fit all. And when you see those memes about the different songs, they don't specify that, children might be different or adult males might be different.
Yeah. So, since I did like my paramedic and EMT, like primarily in Washington, and it has a higher save rate, the citizens usually like knew CPR, like, and would do it before we got there.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah, it helped kind of also when you're in that freak out mode of waiting for the ambulance to get there, knowing CPR and kind of having to do it. It honestly kind of calms you.
Bad CPR like helps us.
Yeah.
Am I good to change gears now?
Yes, you can change it now.
All right. In the beginning, I had mentioned that you're demisexual. When, I guess, two questions. When did you kind of figure that out and come to terms with that? And then how did that get accepted when you came out to family and or friends?
So I realized that like I want to say like 2 years ago. And actually, my friends and family like took it well, I think, because like I was so interested in the opposite sex.
Okay.
And it actually kind of makes me feel good because I'm a late bloomer in that area too, and figuring out who I am, and it's kind of nice to hear that other people don't always. Oh, by the time I was 2, I knew exactly, who I was, what I was.
Yeah, I hear that a lot too. But it was definitely like more of my friends, like who introduced that idea to me, and I realized it like when I was like 33, pretty much.
Was that really, I guess, freeing for you when you finally realized it? Did it kind of answer questions in your head, so to speak?
Yeah. So basically, like looking back on like my relationships was very like illuminating for me.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. I joke about it a lot, but like when I discovered that I was bisexual, it was the joke is that whenever I would look at magazines or if I saw movies, pornos, whatever it was, I would always joke about looking at the girl's hair, the woman's hair, and how I would focus on how their hair looked. And part of it was because when we were growing up, it was, you weren't supposed to be that way. You were either gay or you weren't, and that was it. And so I kind of...
Yeah, it's interesting that bi is like not seen as a real sexuality. It's like seen as like a gateway sexuality.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like a gateway, at least not to me. But I got that kind of growing up of, it's just a phase you'll pick type of thing.
And when we were growing up, bi was just, you're not sure.
Yeah,
It wasn't really taken seriously.
It was thought of as, you're not sure, you'll figure it out eventually, you'll choose or whatever it was. And
yeah,
so
that's unfortunately how it usually goes.
Yeah,
Right.
unfortunately. So I just assumed, because I really wasn't looking at the hair, but I just would say I'm looking at the hair because that's what I thought was, you're supposed to say. And
Yeah.
I realized that looking back, it was just like, oh my God, all of this time, I kind of put myself in the closet. I kept thinking, well, it can't be that, because every time I would try to look into something, it was always all of these different types of sexuality, but they never talked about bisexuality much. And
Yeah.
it was frustrating. And then when I finally the labels are mine, then I can do what I want. I have to choose who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to have that label and say it's mine, of course I share it with other people, but saying it's mine is just, it's nice and free. And finding those words after so long of not being able to figure out what was kind of going on in my head is a huge weight off of the shoulders.
Yeah, I'm sure.
When you can be yourself and you feel like yourself, that's the best feeling in the world. When you don't feel like you have to hide it.
It's very freeing to be yourself.
Yeah.
It can be so hard nowadays too, because people are rough.
Well, they've always been rough. It's just they have more tools and ways to make it seem rougher. And
we're run by those kind of people now, so it's taught better now too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That thing. Anyway.
Uh-huh.
But
it's true.
It is true. And basically, just real quick on that, they're just insecure, mediocre people who are so afraid of what the shadows will bring that they can't stand to look at themselves in the mirror. So they blame the rest of us for their failures and their inadequacies. And that's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, it's easy to say now that I'm an adult, but honestly, it took a long time to get there. And if I can help people along with you to say, be used to the fact that there's going to be people who want to drag you down.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because they're very scared, they're very insecure, and sometimes they are inadequate. Can't help it.
That's the truth sometimes.
And that's what makes us so beautiful and wonderful. It's because we're forced to see our limitations, and yet we still keep going.
Yeah.
Not that we don't let our diseases or syndromes disable us. We don't have a choice in that. And we do let it stop us because we have to. That's how we keep living, is taking that break, taking that breath, taking that nap without guilt.
Yeah, I've heard the term pacing.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been really big.
Yeah.
Pacing is important. I don't know how to do it, but pacing is important.
I'm learning a little how to do it. For example, I'll lay down before my body forces me to.
That's good.
That is a great way to do that. I don't always listen to my body. That's my problem. Because, like I said earlier when I mentioned that when I have those great days and my body is semi-cooperating with me, I push. Because it's I admit that
because you're human.
Yeah, I am human. But I
think we
admit
all
it's
do it.
also because I feel guilty, so guilty that like Mike does so much for me that I'm like that feeling of, but I'm older than him, so I'm supposed to be doing what I need to do, and it's a stupid mentality, and we all.
How I've learned to frame it is like I'm taking care of future Amy.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. You are
Like,
taking.
for example, like I'll like mop the floor of the bathroom in case future Amy like falls on.
Yeah,
That's
and that's a great
good.
way to think
Mhm.
of it, because sometimes you get into your body and not doing what it's supposed to, quote unquote supposed to, and you get frustrated, and that's okay. You are allowed to be frustrated. You're allowed to have those moments of despair, and also realize that you're dealing with something that nobody else really is dealing with, because our bodies are so different from each other. It could be the same name, but it's a different reaction. And so we have to give ourselves grace in that manner, and not overly get so hung up on not doing enough. And again, easier said than done, but it's there. You got to, give yourself the benefit of the doubt.
For sure. And I've also learned that like there are certain tools that I need that I can't be ashamed of using.
Exactly.
Yep.
And anybody who feels ashamed having to use a tool, don't.
Mm-mm.
I know it's easier said than done, but it's there for you to be able to handle life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I have a thing for like opening jars, and like I was using it, and like I thought like well, it's like good that it's easy, cuz like it felt like I was testing myself before.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
With speaking of the tools, with like your wheelchair and things like that, did you have issues with insurance and getting approval for those?
So like luckily like my wheelchair was a hand-me-down, so I didn't have to go through insurance, but it would be a nightmare for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going through round 3, 4 now. And I've heard from other, what are they called? ATPs, I think it is, that have mentioned that sometimes it takes like 3 to 5 rounds of fighting with insurance before they'll cover it.
Yeah, and I think that's like the good part of it.
Yeah.
I definitely heard like that for some people it's like taken a year or 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've heard people who have had like severe issues, whether they're like quadriplegic, paraplegic, people like that having issues getting, insurance to pay for their wheelchair, which is really astounding to me, because how else are they going to get around?
Yeah.
We haven't figured out levitation yet. So
So I'm lucky that in my dance class, like I met like other wheelchair users, and they keyed me into like a foundation that helps with stuff like that.
yes, we need those foundations, and thank you for those foundations.
For sure.
Were you in a dance class with our former guest Ryan by any chance?
Yes, she was like my teacher.
Awesome.
Okay, so spill the deets. How is she as a teacher?
Really good.
Yes, I imagine
Like
that she's
I
awesome.
love how like the infinite flow dance, like how they like teach you how to like maneuver like your chair to mimic dancing. So definitely the wheelchair dance instructor help a lot with that.
You know what's cool is that, speaking of infinite flow, I've started seeing commercials over here in Pennsylvania for infinite flow dance. And I was just like,
Really?
oh my God, I know of these people. And I was just so excited. Yeah. I can't remember what channel I saw it on, but I was just shocked because I was thinking it was only in California, but yeah, I got to see commercials for Infinite Flow Dance over here in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I got really excited when they posted like a reel of me on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
They're awesome.
So I definitely understand the hype.
Yeah. I mean, just that little bit that they show in the commercial, and I've seen Ryan dance, I've seen other videos of you all dancing, and you're impressive as hell. But just the little bit that they show in the commercial, it was amazing. The different abilities, the different levels of disability, and it was seamless.
I've always been horrible at dancing, so I was really nervous about it. But that class definitely helped me not feel nervous about it.
So what was it that made you sign up? How did you get into that?
I originally saw like creator Claire
Okay.
had posted about it,
Okay.
so I saw that reel.
Cool.
Yeah, I want to talk to Claire too. I'm dying to talk to her as well. You get to be around all of my favorites.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we do have to start wrapping it up here. We're coming near the end. Did you want to let people know where they can find you, like on social media, your advocacy work, and see you dancing?
I guess the best place would be like Instagram.
Okay.
My handle is ability with Amy.
Okay.
And it's AMY because there's multiple ways of spelling Amy. Just to make sure.
I'll put that in the show notes
I
too.
forget sometimes.
I wish I could forget that there's multiple ways to spell my name because nobody ever figures out that it's DORY. It's always DORRI or REE. Nobody ever spells it with a Y.
That's weird.
It is.
Like, it seems very simple.
I agree.
It's like my last name. Like, it's definitely mispronounced and misspelled a lot.
Which is really amazing.
Mhm.
Speaking of mispronunciation, I have been called Doug, Danny, Donnie, and Daryl as well. You would think that DORY would not invoke Doug, but it does somehow.
Somehow.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. This was a blast.
Yeah, it's been a thoroughly awesome conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Anytime. And we hope to talk to you again soon. And when you are, winning awards for your advocacy and your dancing, please come back and remember us little people. And because I
hopefully that does happen.
I
Crossing my fingers that it does.
I think it will.
Yes. All right. Bye.
Thank you for listening to The Othering Podcast by Mike and Dory. Please like and follow us on all of your favorite social media.
The Othering Podcast is produced by LoudCore Productions, graphics by Josh, and music by Jordy James.